Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
We're going to start off always by giving no praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Kadash. Right, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and honors to you, brothers, in the work of the Most High, truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is the true name of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Yahweh, Jehovah. His true name is Yahweh. That's the name of the Father. And Yahushai, that is the name of whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay? Couple balls from the London County is going to go into wherever the Spirit leads us. Who's kind of been through a lot today, as in just like watching different documentaries. So we see where the Spirit leads, what the Spirit wants. So you're holding something.
I got something. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Mm-hmm.
How art thou?"
Now, this isn't like the spiritual demon. People have the guy who's red, who's has his wings clipped off and all of that. Right, he's fallen and he's the king of hell. Right, no, it's representative of a man. Okay, because there isn't a spirit or entity that is against the Most High. Right, you read was it Sirach 8:3. Right, basically says that all things obey His will. Right, read Job the second chapter. It speaks about how the sons of the Most High basically came up, to counsel, right? And then what do you call it? Satan was there, right? It's basically showing you that Satan gets his marching orders from the Most High. Okay.
You want me to read that for you, bro?
Yeah.
This is Job chapter 2, verse 1. "Again there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord Yahweh Yahushai, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord."
Yeah, present himself. Have you got blue letter on that?
Yeah, I'll get it for you. Job 2. 2, blue letter's been acting out recently.
So present.
You want the word present, yeah?
Yeah.
See, that doesn't show every word. Yeah, you gotta go through it. It's been
buggy.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll find it. Yeah, I got it.
You got it, yeah.
So the word there is yatazab.
Mm-hmm.
I believe if I'm saying that correct. To place, set, stand, set or station oneself, present oneself, take one stand, present oneself, stand with someone.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's basically what it says in the English, more or less, isn't it?
Yeah. To basically he presented himself before the Lord, the council of the Lord.
Yeah.
Because up in heaven you got the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahushua is sitting on the right hand side of Yahweh. You got the 24 elders.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the Lord's got his council, man, up there. In the heavens. It says, "And the Lord said unto Satan," but the point is that people in the world, Roman Catholic dogma and all that, what did they show? That the brother was saying, the king of hell, that he had some epic battle and then his wings got clipped and he fell down to hell. That's all going back to, Greek mythology and Babylonian concepts and all that. That's not biblical.
That's not in the scriptures.
That's Lucifer ain't talking about that. Okay, they had that show, Lucifer, where they got, some guy playing Satan or whatever. But that's not what it's talking about. Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, the angel on the left-hand side, he serves the Lord. He's one of the sons of God. He's one of the angels of the Lord, and he's come to present himself to the Lord, man. His job is just to do things on the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
As it is written, what's it in Isaiah? I create the light. Yeah. It says, "And the Lord said unto Satan, From whence comest thou? And Satan answered Yahweh and said, From going to and fro in the earth."
So Satan's answering. He's being asked questions and he's answering. Wait, I thought he was this entity that somehow has what do you call it? Can do his own thing. Well, because even as we're going into this, I'm thinking about here it is. What Satan's all anti. He's anti the Most High, whatever. But yet he had Yahushua when Yahushua was at his weakest.
Mm-hmm.
So why didn't he do something to Yahushua when Yahushua was at his weakest? Why? Because he didn't have power to do so. Okay. Why? Because like we're reading in Job the second chapter, right? He answers to the Most High. Okay.
Yep. So it says, and Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth the Most High and escheweth evil? And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. And Satan answered Yahweh and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man have will he give for his life. But put forth thine hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. And Yahweh said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life.
So right, once again, the Lord had basically Yahweh set the bounds to what Satan could and couldn't do. Right, and that's where also what you call it in this thing. For me personally, gives comfort because the scripture also says, you will not be tempted above that which ye can handle. Right, because let's be real, not everyone can, suffer their whole family being taken away and then just maintain. Right, there is a special spirit that the Most High has to, put in you. Right, whereas some people they may have to go through that. Right, some people may straight up have to, be martyrs for this truth. Right, some people's hell is going to be different to others, but why? That's because everyone's hell is individual to that particular brother. Okay, his particular situation. Right.
Yeah.
So Isaiah 45:7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh, do all these things.
Yeah, so it's, the brother brought the precept. That's pretty much what it is. It's the Lord that controls both sides. So there's nothing that Satan is doing outside of the bounds of Yahweh Shmi Shai. And in fact, no one. Man's goings over the Lord. The Lord controls everything, man. The angels, all of that. They're all in order under Yahweh, man. I can get back to Isaiah 14. Yeah. So back in Isaiah 14 and 12, now that we have an understanding, let's read it again. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Yeah, so once again, Lucifer, that means light bearer. Okay? Which, Yahweh Shai is a true Lucifer. Okay?
Yeah, that's right. Because what's the light? Does it not say in Isaiah the 60th chapter, arise for thy light has come? And who's the light? The light is Yahweh Shai. That's the true light. Now, on the left-hand side, with these wicked elites, what do you have? They call themselves, you have the order of the Illuminati, going back to, you have different illuminated societies that you had before that call themselves illuminated, but the one I'm talking about specifically is the order of the Illuminati that Adam Weishaupt headed back in, what it was founded back in May the 1st, 1776, okay? And, me and this brother were watching G. Edward Griffin's Capitalist Conspiracy, which is a good documentary. The apostles mention it many times. It's well worth a watch, man. A lot of information in there, And he says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Okay, so who's he talking about? Who's the current people who have the rulership at the moment? The so-called light. The illuminated ones. Who are they? The wicked elite. You have a wicked elite, which they call the international banking families, the international families that rule this world, they have a complete dominion over the world, man. They're the ones that have the so-called, they bear the light, in a sense, But it says, how art thou fallen from heaven? Now, does that mean that, because there's a heaven, that Lucifer fell from heaven? No, it's talking about heaven as in they're in an exalted place. They're at the top, but they're going to be brought down.
Give me a second, brother. Well, I just back you on that real quick. When you forget how it's phrased.
What is the one you're looking for? Capernaum.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah. How art thou exalted?
Yeah. It says Matthew 11:23, and thou Capernaum, which art exalted unto heaven, shall be brought down to hell. For if the mighty works which have been done in thee had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. Right. So once again, Capernaum was a city, right? So there was this like you was in one of them Avengers when the little city was just hoisted up into the village or whatever, was hoisted up into the sun. No, that's into the atmosphere. That's not what it's talking about, man. When I was a brother expounded Well, that's basically referencing being basically in good stead, in a good place. Okay. Now, what do you call it? E right now, he's, as we know, in the scriptures, he is the basis of men, right? But he is exalted up now to the point where whatever he says goes, right? Scriptures in Sirach 13:23, right, speaks about how when a rich man speaks, every man look to see what he saith. Right now, everyone looks to Esau for what they say. Right? No one, no one respects what it is. Man's gonna say, man. Right? He's just, what you call it? You'll be up there on the podium. Oh no, he's just there because of equality, you know. Like, no, that's what everyone's thinking, man. Right? But we're coming into the time when that is gonna be corrected. Right? When the right rulers of this world are gonna be set in their stead. You read Sirach 10th chapter, right? Speaks about the Most I will set over the rulership of the earth, one that is profitable. Okay.
Yeah. And there's a saying that says the white man's heaven is the black man's hell. That's why, because the Israelites are currently we're in slavery, so this is our hell. Okay, but this is the so-called white man, which is the Edomites. It's their heaven. Why? Because they're the ones that are being exalted in the world. They're the ones that are living delicately. They're getting all the best things.
Living my best life.
Yeah, exactly. It says, and the elites of them so much more so.
Yeah.
It says,
or to bring back a phrase that the apostles said years ago. Like, man, if you're a bro Edomite in this kingdom, man, you're a 2-time loser, man. Because this is your kingdom, man. You failed in your kingdom, man.
Yeah, that's right. And I've got a quick precept. This is James chapter 5, verse 5. And if you read verse 1, it talks about the rich men. It's talking about the elites. It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. So it says you have lived in pleasure on the earth, man. This is their pleasure, paradise. This is their heaven, man. In a sense. And it's just, as it is written, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
But on that, it's Psalm 73:5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Okay, so going back into that same precept the brother just read, they live a different life. Right? They've not known suffering. They've not, we little things like Jake knows what it's like for the electric to go off. That oh man, you have to find the pounds to put money on the machine so you can get your so the electric can come back. Right? The card and all of that sort of stuff, man. Jake, no poverty. Right,
and that's Jake in Salakia. That's Jake in the West.
Yeah.
What about Jake that lives in the? You got Jake that live in the favelas in Brazil, where they get light power outs.
Yeah.
Jake that live in the West Coast in Zimbabwe, in Ghana, Nigeria, all that. What happens to that? Yeah. There's sometimes it go days without light and all that.
No, for real. That's why, for instance, a load of them that are able to afford it will have some kind of solar power, right? But that's why it's beautiful. It's beautiful because these same people in these third world environments that everyone in the West, they're so poor. Right, in these last days, they're going to be doing better than you. Because once again, they've got their solar. They've got their own water tank because you can't trust the government to send the water. The pipes may burst and never gets fixed. Or there may just not be a water treatment facility at all. Right, but everyone will, who can afford, once again, will have their little well or will have the little tank to collect the water. Right, so in these last days, they're gonna be doing better than a lot of you people out here. Right, but that's the beauty of pride, right? Because what does the scripture say? Pride goeth before destruction. Right, so I'm gonna finish this off. It says that it actually goes into that. It says, therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence covereth them as a garment. Okay, so that's these thing about you devils, man. You're proud. I remember last year when I was going back home, right? You stop by the airline stops by in Ethiopia, right? Because Ethiopian Airlines, right, stops by in Ethiopia and I had to make a stopover for the night. Right now we're out there and we're basically being taken, to the airport hotels, and I shit you not, right? 2 Americans in another part of the world. So who conquered the Ethiopians then? Was it English or the Spanish? Oh, no. I think they mostly conquered the East. So the West and this, that, and that. It wasn't them. It's like, here it is, your man's country, and the first thing you're asking is who the fuck conquered these people. And I was like, bro, these devils, man, these devils gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
These devils gotta go.
Yeah. More on that, bro.
Devils out, man.
Come, this is back in Isaiah 14 and 12. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?"
Well, who's that talking about, man? Who's weakened the nations, man? Bro, who's been at war with someone themselves or someone else for the majority of their existence? This devil, man. Why? Because why? Because his blessing allows him to do that. His blessing has allowed him to take control of all over the world, right? You know, would you call it? It's that blessing of the sword. You think about, you know, which I know is movies. Think about what Last Samurai. Right, I've not watched all of it, but I just know the last scene. Right, basically you got you there on the field, and what do they bring up? They bring out that Gatling gun, man. They said the same thing about you know, Galen Rubin, right? How, you know, the guy was fucking them up, but then he brought out that Gatling gun, just straight up, just killing, man, straight quick, man, right?
Yeah. I got a preset. Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse that was red.
Okay, so horse representing power, and red because what, Edom, right? Edom is red, right? These red Hebrew Edomites, man.
And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
Right, so this power was given to him. Right, that's why you get our people. They be doing this, doing the most, right? Trying to take this man down, but they ain't no taking this man down carnally. Because the only way to take this man down carnally is by using his own blessing, right? Which you can read over Genesis the 27th chapter, right? That the Most High has set him as ruler of this world. The Most High is the one that gave him the blessing. You read Isaiah 54:16. It speaks about how the Most High hath created this smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Now, who made that ICBM nuclear missile? Right, the what you call that guy Oppenheimer. Or I mean, there were several people, but the one of the names that come up is Oppenheimer. Right now, who gave him that inspiration? Who gave him that understanding? The Most High. So here it is, you get our people trying to take him. You can't take this man down carnally, man. Okay.
What's that in Isaiah 54 and 16?
Yeah.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire.
Mm-hmm. And if I can say what brother broke it down, what brother which got broke it down about how that's what was an ancient smith doing? Mm-hmm. Right, just was it metallurgy? Right, METALLURGY. Right, metallurgy, I believe it's called. Right, where you're finding which metals work well, which metals you add this much metal is, it might make it strong. You add too much of that, then it fucks up the composition. That's what these modern day smiths are, right? By way of these nuclear scientists, because once you got the warhead's only one part of the problem, right? Now you have to create something that goes from one part of the world to another part of the world. Right? One of the things you have to deal with in them instances is heat, right, and friction, because when you're moving something that fast, you get friction, which creates heat. Now, what they have to do is find and make and do metal work so that you have something that can withstand the heat but is light enough. That means that it can travel fast, which means you can have less fuel in it, so it's more fuel efficient. All of this, that, and the other. That is what a smith does, right? It's just finding out the right metals to work for that particular thing.
Behold, I have created a smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy.
That's it. It's talking about them ICBM nuclear missiles, man.
Yeah. Back in Revelation 6 and 4, it says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword.
Mm-hmm. So the ability to kill is something that has been gifted to this man. And that ultimate sword, once again, is that ICBM nuclear missile. Look, you could understand this man, right, by the way of the Russian Edomite, has created a nuclear weapon where one of them can take out Texas. One of them can take out France. And these guys have loads of them. Right? That is a madman. That is an act, because that is people talk about indiscriminate. That is indiscriminate. That doesn't. That's just what if it can take out France. That means it can level the whole of the United Kingdom several times over, right? You can do all of that, man. Right? Oh. You know, you can do that several times over.
Yeah, that's why those weapons. It's the Lord that made the smith to do that. Why has the Lord done that? Because ultimately those weapons are the weapons of his indignation.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be used to set an example by destroying different places. But the main place that's going to be destroyed is America, which is Babylon the Great in the scriptures that are to be destroyed.
Never inhabited ever again.
Yeah. This is back in Isaiah 14. Verse 12, let's read that last bit again. It says, how art thou cut down to the ground? So they're going to be, remember, we gave them an example, heaven being exalted. Now they're going to be brought down to the ground. It says, which didst weaken the nations. It says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And the scriptures in Ezekiel 28 talk about the Prince of Tyrus. Talks about through their wisdom, that they through their traffic, through their business, through the wealth that they've attained, through the slavery, all of that, and the knowledge that they've attained, that they think that they're on some kind of level, man. And they're so proud, the pride of the Edomite, that he thinks he's on the level of Yahweh Bosh Miao Shai. Yeah. That's why he wants to stick that thing in everyone, okay, that digital device, all right. He wants complete control. That's why. I like that one when they copy them. That's why in his media, what did he do? He presented himself as he was going up into the moon and all that, man. Which he never did that. He didn't pass no Van Allen radiation belts.
Trust science, bro. Yeah. Why won't these people trust science? I'm mocking.
Hey, well, in that documentary, Capitalist Conspiracy. It clearly outlined that the round table, the CFR, all of that. They had all of these top scientists in their pockets, man. All the university professors, the university heads, all of that. The newspapers, the media, all of that.
Just like how back in the day, the church, what do you call it, was the head of state, basically. Whatever the Pope basically said, you came up against what the Pope said, that was heresy.
Oh, well, you know what's crazy about that? One of the first one of the first positions of power that the Borgia family had. What was their one of the main
papacy? Yeah,
the papacy. They got there into the papacy, man. I forgot the exact which pope it was. Was
there one before?
I don't know.
Rodrigo is in that.
I haven't gone over it in a while. Rodrigo Borgia.
Yeah,
Rodrigo, it was one of the Borgias, from the Borgia family. Which, by the way,
dad.
Yeah,
that was Rodrigo.
Which they were known as what? They were known as the first crime family, man. They were doing all kinds of wickedness, and they got into the papacy. Reminding me of that. I'll keep reading it. It says, verse 15. It says, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell." Remember, they were exalted to heaven. Now they're going to be brought down to hell. Why? Because I'm going to get a precept to show you. Okay. You know how I just said to you that a white man's heaven is a black man's hell? Well, what was happening to the so-called black man? Okay, what was happening to Judah? What was happening to Benjamin, Levi? What was happening to the tribes? We were put in slavery. Chains were put on us. Okay, so what's going to happen in turn? Okay, to these guys, Psalms 149 verse 7. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. So we're going to slap chains on their nobles, on their top elite, man. Okay? So what does it say in Isaiah 14? It says, what do we just read? It says, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit." So ultimately what's going to happen? You're going to be put in slavery. You're going to be in hell. We're going to be kicking your ass in the kingdom. Yeah? Okay? All the time. Okay? You can be a complete mockery. And then after that, you're going to be destroyed.
Because there ain't going to be no need for you anymore in the kingdom. See, the kingdom of Israel is going to be a righteous kingdom. Okay, it's going to be a righteous kingdom. It's going to be a kingdom of peace. When you read that in Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, when it speaks about how, they shall learn the war no more, but this, that, and the other. But in contrast, in this world, this man is creating literal weapons of mass destruction. It's the worst thing about it, right? Because they always sort of think, oh, what would you call it? Iraq as weapons of mass destruction. But who would have sold it to them? Who, even to this day, as rich as Saudi Arabia is, who sells them their military arms? You, right? The illegal weapons, right, that they're using to drop on Yemen, cluster bombs. Why? Because cluster bombs are indiscriminate. Guess who sold them to? If I remember quickly, it was the bloody British, man. Right, but these are the same people that will then say, "Oh no, weapons! Oh, you can't use them."
Well, you know what's interesting about that? Okay, they want to keep peace, right? Okay, America says the rhetoric of what Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. That's why they went in there, right? Because Iraq would have been a threat to America. That's what they're saying. But by the same logic, okay, Russia has openly proclaimed weapons of mass destruction. Okay, they've got thermonuclear missiles.
That's it.
Why don't you go up into Russia? Why don't you liberate us from that threat?
Yeah.
You ain't done that. Why? Because you can't. Okay, because they got some real weapons.
That's it.
You know.
Hey, which you know the way these Russians are, man. Hey, cause that's the thing. The American pride will have you think that Russia ain't really that big a threat. I remember once again the older brother was going into it years ago about the differences in the Russian military and the American military. Because the American military just throw money at the problem. Right, whereas something like with the Russian, what they had to do was very different. It was like you got a set amount of money, right? You can't be like the Americans of like hundreds of like for instance when they tried to shook up Syria a couple of years ago, they dropped like 100 bombs, and these bombs were going like from 500 to 1,000,000 each, right? Whereas Russia's thing was like, look, man, you can't afford to do that shit, so you create one really good missile that can do damage, like take out a bloody what do you call this thing, man? Aircraft carrier, man. I think it was the Onyx or something like that, right? One of these bad boys, right? That's a much better use of your money than creating 1,000,000, 100, a basic missile, and buying like hundreds and thousands of them. It's better to just create one really good one, isn't it?
Yeah, and Russia's got loads of missiles, man. They got a missile that can reach America in like an hour, man.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it was a lot quicker than that.
Probably going quicker now, right? Yeah. You know, yeah.
The one reference before that I said that can destroy all of Texas and all of France are roughly the same size anyway. NATO has, because basically you have a Russian name for it, but then NATO will give them names as well. NATO called it Satan 2, man.
That's probably the more later one, because they had one before. Yeah, the Satan 2, I heard of that before. Because they had ones before called Sarkon. Sarkon, yeah. It was like I remember reading it. It's like roughly about an hour, or maybe sooner, quicker, you know? And that's biblical, it's in the scriptures. Okay. Yeah, you want to keep reading, bro?
Yeah.
This is verse 16. It says, "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying," and this is the key bit because we were going into who Lucifer is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? So what's it talking about? Okay, it's talking about men. Okay, so people are going to look at these Edomites and go, hold on, these Rockefellers, these Rothschilds, these Oppenheimers, these Morgans, they're going to look at them like, hold on, these guys, they were shaking the kingdoms. They were the ones that were dropping these bombs. They were taking, peace on the earth. Okay, because everyone's going to know about them. They're going to be completely exposed. Now, you wouldn't know who they are unless you were in the know. Okay, you don't know who these people are, man. They like to hide behind shadows. But in the kingdom of heaven, they go, hey, we're exposing them through the spirit right now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shmi Shai. But they're going to be fully exposed, man. You're going to see them in their low basis state that they are. Okay, it says, excuse me.
Okay, Slack, bro. So yeah, I was just confirming that information. So, Moscow, as Americans would say, Moscow to London, ICBM would be 15 minutes. What do you call it? And they're basically saying that around, because basically these things fly at approximately 6 to 7 kilometers per second. Right. So what do you call it? And it says New York to Moscow is 7,500 kilometers, which at 6.5 kilometers a second is 20 minutes. adding acceleration time, you're looking at about 30 minutes total. So they're which what that generation of ICBM would take around 30 minutes to get to America, and what do you call it, 15 minutes to destroy London.
Can't.
What's wrong with you, bro? That's some.
Yeah, but what we know is that Russia is going to use their missiles and shoot them over at America, and America's going to be destroyed by the missiles.
In and out. And mind you, that's not even including any of the submarine-based nuclear weapons that are near America.
Yeah, they're going to be shot. Even their allies, so-called allies, are going to shoot their missiles, man. That's in the scriptures. These shall hate the whore and burn her with fire. Okay, what do you think that's talking about? That thermonuclear fire. This is verse 17. I'll read the last bit of 16 and jump to 17. It says, "Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness?" And
so if I can say, made the world as a wilderness, man. That's what this man has done. He's taken peace from earth. Okay, you know when you watch what was this, Lion King, right? And you had Mufasa was a good guy.
Yeah,
Mufasa.
So cool.
Well, yeah. Mufasa was the dad or whatever, and you see the scene where, like, when it's Mufasa's ruling, and then afterwards you have when Scar is ruling, and it's all dark and it's all grey and it's all dead, right? That's what happens when this man's in rulership. Okay, things die, right? Because he is as death. Okay,
and I just got a picture. This is a picture from of the First World War. Oh, man, I couldn't get it. That'll do. Okay. See that, man? Just type in scorched earth. You know?
Yep. And in fact, when you look at Russia last year released what was, I believe, the testing of the Tsar bomb, whatever, what have you. And when after they go and they actually investigate, what the place that just got bombed, they actually say that it's scorched, man. Right? But that's what this man does. That's what the scripture says in Habakkuk, I believe it is. Joel's before them was as the Garden of Eden. Afterwards, it was desolate, man. This is what this man does. Right? But people want him in the kingdom. Nah, you ain't coming in the kingdom, man. Right? As in only as a slave, but then after that, we don't want you there, man. Because you're going to find a way. Right? You're going to find a way.
Yeah, when the missiles get shot, man, the earth is going to be different, man.
Yeah.
The wilderness, man. All these cities that you see, a lot of these cities are going to be pummeled down.
Yeah. Everything, all the works, in 2 Peter 3, right, all the works that are therein shall be burnt up, man. Right, so that includes the physical things, that includes these different things that you push out in the world, man. Right? Yeah, scriptures talk about, you get certain people that, after the fact, that are still going to be trying to, be rebellious and all of that. But look, man, when once we have rulership over the world, ain't no one coming talking to us about no alphabet people. Ain't no one coming talking to us about no abortion, about no feminism, none of that. Because we're going to have the power in that day. Like, someone even thinks that, we just melt them, man.
Yeah. It says, and
Thanos them.
Yeah, make them just disappear. Dr. Manhattan then.
Yeah, that's a better one.
With Dr. Manhattan, if you see him, he goes like that, and the tank just comes apart, and he crushes it back together. It says, that open not the house and destroy the cities thereof, that open not the house of his prisoners. Who is his captives? Who is his prisoners? The Israelites. He didn't open the house. He didn't say, well, look, man, you know what? I've got you. We had you in chattel slavery.
I feel bad
now we got you in these bonds, these contracts. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna let you go. He's gonna let you be free. He never did that. He's never let the prisoners go. Okay, we're still in slavery to this day. And we're gonna be found in his hand. It says, that was it on that.
And that's it. Yeah, I got one. Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Okay, now once again, the hammer of the whole earth that's gone into this devil E, man. Right? Once again, he's gone around, and it was the saying, roughly paraphrasing, everything to a hammer looks like a nail. Right, that's why whenever he solves a problem, what's he doing? He's taking his aircraft carriers, right? He's taking his weapons. He's taking his fighter jets. Right, here it is. The nation just needs humanitarian aid. This nigga sending missiles. The guys are there like, why did he even ask you for help? And you'll see certain of our people, do that in the world because YE has basically set himself up to be the world police. Okay, right? Well, peace something will be happening. You might have a leader that doesn't want to relinquish power. And what do they say? Oh, please, America, come help us, right? But which more than likely, what's that? That's that propaganda, right, from these news corporations. Because once again, that's what we was watching in that documentary. Here it is. You'll be thinking that it's a genuine case, right? But these times you've got this devil that's actually paying people off in the news media, man. Okay.
Yeah. You on that, bro?
Yeah.
Just because you brought it out, I'm just going to jump down. But back in Isaiah 14, I'm going to just jump to verse 22. It says, "For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and the remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. I also will make it a possession for the bitten and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahweh Shai of hosts."
Yeah, because America's going to be completely destroyed. And it ain't gonna be like ancient Babylon. Ancient Babylon, that's a mod that's nowadays will be called Iraq, okay? And people still live there. They've been fighting a war there for however long, right? But once America, the new Babylon, is destroyed, right? No one's living there again. It's gonna be forever a memorial, right, unto those that live ungodly. Man, it's like this is the recompense. Right, we had to really understand. I was just watching that documentary, right? It basically said the gold that was stolen, right, from what you call the Americas, right, from the Latin Trust, from Northern Kingdom, right, that then made the Spanish Kingdom rich, that made the British rich, that made the French rich, okay, and then in those riches they were then able to set up these empires that you see today, right? These rulerships. So the very act of that basically has fueled this kingdom that we see. Right? Then they have chattel slavery, putting our brothers in. Oh, sorry, I've completely missed a bit. Then they massacre. Right? Well, that guy put the number at 95%, not independently verified that number. Right? But we know that it was a hell of a load of of our people and of the Latin tribes that were killed over there in the Americas. Right? We know the number was immense. Okay.
Well, I was reading one book talking about the tribes of Gad, and there was one particular family or tribe within the Gadites, and then they were talking about how at first they had thousands in their community, and there was only a handful of them left.
Yeah,
because of disease and different things that was brought upon to them, man.
Yeah, by the savages.
Yeah, and it says in the scripture, it says, "I will sweep it with the besom of destruction." Okay, now when you get like a broom, when you sweep a broom, what happens? You sweep it against the floor. It's like the dust gets blown, and you basically that it covers the whole ground, and that's talking about the fire, that besom of destruction. It's talking about that wall of fire from the missiles. When the missiles hit, and you're gonna see that's wall of fire, and it's just gonna come and just consume everything, man.
You got two good depictions of that. You've got knowing, right? The end of knowing, right? Which that was just a straight copy from the scriptures. When you know the scriptures, it's like, okay, cool. I see what you did there. Okay, fair enough. Okay, whatever. Okay. Which even now I'm thinking about that. What was the thing? It was all about the prophecies, and then at the end, which called the prophecies, when all the prophecies were fulfilled, what was it? The time of the deliverance. Okay, deliverance and destruction simultaneously, right? And also you have because we referenced it before, Watchmen, right, is in the film. Remember when Dr. Manhattan comes back to Earth, and it's like a nuclear explosion.
Oh, like the electro, explosions, yeah. I had something. This is Revelation chapter 18. The whole chapter is good. I'm just gonna read this bit. verse 7. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, and this is talking about America, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
But we have to understand, this man has actually never known death. Right? That's why, for instance, they kept saying, oh, for instance, I saw this one, more people have now died. I think they were saying that in what's the in World War One or something like that, or something like more Americans have done something ridiculous like that. And I'm just there like, bruh, the rest of the world that was fighting in that war, they lost millions and millions of people, right?
Yeah.
You know, so they haven't known death.
America's going to get touched.
They're going to get touched.
It says, and it's saying that she'll see no sorrow, but you're going to see it. Okay, it says, therefore, and that's part of that American pride as well, like, you know, the greatest military on earth.
Yeah.
All that, man. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire.
Yeah.
For strong is the Lord power, Yahweh Shai, who judgeth her.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord's going to judge. How's the Lord going to judge America? Thermonuclear missiles being shot at, and the lasers from the chariots. Okay, and all the plagues before it. But that's the final plagues, you know? Because how do we know that the missiles are a plague? I get the preset. You got something in it, bro.
Yeah, I got some information. I was just verifying those numbers that I gave, right? So, United States military deaths were 416,800 in World War II, right? And then I just looked at the contrast, the Soviet Union military deaths between 8.8 and 10.7 million. Yeah. No, I just found that is legit. That is untouched, right? And even when you look at civilian deaths, there were only 400,000 civilian deaths in World War II as well.
Well, America's really never had anything come to its shores.
Yeah.
America's had civil wars, you know, amongst itself. But like for example, you had what did you have in Britain? You know, you had the bombings from Germany, World War II, the Blitz and all that. You know, France, the Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
You know, you had all these different places have got touched.
Yeah.
Okay, but America's not really been touched like that.
That's it.
Even when in the Vietnam conflict, yeah, you know, they were struggling and all that. Certain things were happening, but that was in the Viet Cong war. That was over another land. Yeah. That was another land. You got U.S. soldiers that die in different lands. Yeah, but the shores of America, you know, you know, hey, you know, when the missiles hit, America's gonna get hit, fully hit. That's why it says utterly burnt with fire, man.
Yeah, man. It's first time I really looked at these numbers. You know, and in contrast, bro, America ain't. But this was one of the deadliest wars ever, right? In human history, and they only had 400,000 civilian deaths. You contrast that to say Yugoslavia had 1 million, right? The Soviet Union had 24 million civilian deaths in World War II, right? Even Romania, right, had 833,000. Poland 5.6 million. Japan even had 2.6 million. India 1.5 million. Right? Germany 6.6.
Yeah, so there was a lot of death in these, man. Yeah. In these wars, man. You know, that's part of the scripture we read earlier, taking peace from the earth. You know, and it also says in the scriptures, rain and fire down from heaven. You know, America did that, man. With its airplanes. You know, its fighter jets dropping them bombs, man. You know, this is quick precept.
Yeah, I'm done. I was just in awe of those numbers, isn't it?
Can't. So there's a lot of death, but the death that's going to be in America, hey man, if you're in the land of America and you ain't up the elect, you're going to burn in that fire because the whole place is going to get burnt with fire.
So when I looked at those numbers before, right, it's crazy. Over 200 million people are going to die in America.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of death. The slain of the Lord shall be many. Now that plague I mentioned earlier, you know, in Revelation the 18th chapter. This is the plague I was mentioning, Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord, Yahweh Shmi Shai, will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Because who's in captivity? The Israelites. Okay. All right. It says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. So what's that? What plague do you know that does that? That's talking about the thermonuclear destruction. And when that fire, when that besom of destruction hits you, okay, it says their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. It's gonna go to bones and it's gonna go to dust. You're just gonna become dust, man. Okay, you're gonna be burnt to smithereens and on an atomic level.
Yeah, and while standing on their feet, shows you it's quick, man.
Yep.
It's instant. It's not like, once again, it's not like Ebola where you do melt, but you're in like this chamber thing, this plastic chamber thing, so your disease doesn't spread to anyone else.
Yeah. It says their eyes shall consume away in their holes. When you look at a skull, what do you see? The skull doesn't have eyeballs in it. It's got a gap where the eyeball used to be, you know? So if your eyes are being consumed away in their holes, that means that you're getting melted. You know, your whole body's getting melted, man. It says, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Pretty much, man. You know, it's given an image of someone being completely destroyed. Now, in that movie, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, they had a Sarah Connor getting hit by that besom of destruction. But even in that movie, they didn't do it fully justice. Why? Because she was still on the railings with that. She was on the railings. With the bones.
Yeah, and the railings still.
The railings are still surviving. No, man, everything is going to be it's going to become a complete desert. The railings are going to get melted along with the bones and all of that, man. It's going to be just dust. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to be the people that are going to die over there in America. They're going to be part of that dust and charred dust. That's going to be part of that desert land. You know,
that's it.
Okay.
So.
That was it on that. Yeah.
So yeah, you know, kind of covered. We've got a lot of different things. You know, through the spirit, right? You know, and you know, as always, what I was edifying. You know, but yeah, unless you got anything else to say.
Yeah, America's gonna be destroyed, man. And you know what? These elites, you know, they're gonna be put into slavery. You know, and they want America as part of their agenda. They think they're gonna come up and rule again, but hey, the Lord's hand's gonna take them, man. Okay, we're gonna put the chains on them, you know, and we're gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. We're gonna be in the kingdom of Israel, the rulership that comes next, and we're gonna see America in the kingdom of heaven. And it's just the smoke of that destruction is gonna go up for a very long time, and it's gonna be a testament to its sins reaching upon to heaven, man. It's going to be a testament of why such wickedness has such a great judgment, you know, because America's a very big land, you know. That's what I was going to say.
That's it. So yeah, we'll close up, man. We'll go on, close by giving our praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, by double honors the apostles of Great Millstone.
Double honors.
Honors you brothers in the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity.
Shalom.
Shalom. Oh.